This is the crucial rail bridge in New York City that was almost destroyed by German spies. But how did the Hellgate Bridge that connects Queens all the way to the Bronx through Randall and Ward Island evade sabotage? Well, for that we have to go back to the beginning, before there ever was a bridge, and this was simply known as the Hell Gate, which comes from the Dutch word Helgat, translates to the Bright Passage. This was the worst nightmare for seafaring captains, because this is the confluence of the Long Island Sound and the East River, dumping large volumes of water, creating a violent stir of whirlpools, currents, and sharp rocks. For example, in 1780, the British had to send a vessel filled with 960,000 British pounds in order to pay their soldiers' salaries to fight the rebels during the American Revolution. That vessel was named the HMS Hussar. As it came through the Hell Gate, it hit a submerged rock and sank to the depths. Apparently, that's $576 million worth today of gold coins that are still submerged underneath. Or is it really still there? Because on October 10th, 1885, a 12-year-old girl pressed a detonator to blow up 300,000 pounds of explosives that were planted into tunnels that were dug underneath the Hell Gate. But who was this girl? This was the daughter of General John Newton of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, who was tasked with clearing up this treacherous reef that up until that point damaged or sank 1,000 ships or more. Yup, this is a ship graveyard. That explosion was one of the largest man-made explosions for decades. It unleashed vapor and splash that was up to 150 feet high. It made the Hell Gate safer to navigate, but in the age of rail, there had to be a new connection. That's where our chief engineer Gustav Lindenthal came into play. He had to design a bridge that would last 1,000 years with 4 rail connections, making it easier to go from Washington, D.C. to Boston through New York. This makes it one of the most important rail connections in the entire United States. That's why the mustachio man with the funny accent during World War II set his sights on destroying it. 8 German saboteurs who spent significant time in America beforehand trained for 3 weeks in Germany. They landed via U-boats armed with explosives, 4 of them in Florida and the other 4 in Amagansett, Long Island. Their mission? To spread panic in the US by destroying key infrastructure such as Newark Penn Station, rail infrastructure in Pennsylvania, the New York City water supply, and most importantly, the Hell Gate Bridge. But the leader of the group, George Dash, age 39, secretly loved America, so he decided to defect. Once he arrived to the hotel, he gave the FBI a call, but the FBI just shrugged him off. So he went personally to Washington, D.C. to turn himself in. With all of Dash's information, the FBI arrested all 8 of the saboteurs, and after a military tribunal, 6 of them were executed. That means that the Hell Gate Bridge is still standing mighty today, and may very well one day provide a subway connection from Queens to the Bronx. Let all of that sink in. Stay curious, my friends.